Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you need to learn a language, but you're busy as hell, I get it. Lately, I have been giving my work a lot of time, and whatever is left, I try to move my body, eat something healthy, and sleep. And so yeah, I totally get it. Language learning can often just fall to the bottom of your list. Because yes, we all know this, if you're not using the language regularly, you will start losing it. But here's the good news. There is a way to continue learning and improving your skills even when your life is super chaotic. And you don't need more time, you just need a better system. And in this video, I'm going to share my system with you. This video is also brought to you by Squarespace, but more about them later. As always, I have made a free guide for you guys for this video called the Low-Effort Fluency Formula. It's basically a super simple system that helps you integrate language learning into the life that you already have without spending more time on language learning. The guide also includes a weekly tracker to help you have a visual overview of your language learning. You can get it absolutely for free by clicking the link in my description. So let's start talking about my low-effort fluency formula. When I was preparing for this video, I really wanted to give you a system for when you truly really don't have time for language learning. When you try to be consistent, but you notice, weeks after weeks that you're just not consistent and you just can't find time in your schedule for language learning. Like there's no additional time. So what I'm proposing in this video is using the time you already have, but using it in a better way. So the first area I want to talk to you guys about today is moving your body. So while you're moving your body, you're going to be doing something in your target language, because I really hope that most of you guys watching this video exercise consistently. So what I personally do, because I do exercise consistently, I do yoga, bouldering, swimming, sometimes I just go for walks. That is also absolutely okay. So in those moments when I do all of that, I try to watch workout videos in my target language. Let's say I want to do a yoga flow. So instead of searching for this flow in my native language, Russian, I'm gonna do it in English or in Spanish. So this way, I'm kind of doing two things at once. I'm moving my body, I'm working out while practicing my language. You're not spending any additional time, but you're still getting things done. The next thing that I personally do is I try to listen to a language podcast while walking, or maybe listening to music in my target language instead of listening to music in my native language. That is something that happens automatically right now when I go outside. First, I have to grab my headphones and then I listen to something while I'm walking somewhere, or maybe while I'm in the Uber. Because if I know that today I just don't have a lot of time for language learning, or maybe I don't have any time for language learning at all, this is such a simple and small thing I can still do. Also, those of you guys who are going to the gym, you're probably using a lot of different apps to maybe track the weights you're using, or I don't know, to keep track of the food you're eating. So why not change the language in these apps? Instead of using your native language, using your target language as well. The next area we're gonna talk about is doing your chores or maybe cooking. Again, it's just something we all have to do. I'm sure you probably do those things every day or almost every day, so you can add language learning to this as well. I personally don't like cooking that much. This thing that I started doing originally started with me wanting to make cooking more enjoyable. Making homemade meals is way cheaper than ordering food. It's also way healthier for me, so that is why I do that. But what I started doing is I started watching YouTube while cooking, or maybe listening to a podcast while cooking. And eventually I decided to incorporate language learning into my cooking routine. Now I try to listen to something in English or in Spanish while I cook my food. When you're doing laundry, you can do the same thing. When you're washing the dishes, you can also do the same thing. And when you're even planning food, like planning all the recipes you want to make, creating a list, you can also do that in English, in Spanish, in any language you're learning. Basically, the principle is whatever it is you do, you try to think if it is possible for you to do this thing in your target language instead of your native language. And another little thing that I really like to do is I like to talk to my smart assistant like Alexa or Google or Siri. When I say, Alexa, set a timer, or Alexa, what time is it? I do that in English English or in Spanish, because that is a great way for me to practice my speaking skills. And guys, if you're currently working on embracing your own unique voice, you have to know that having a strong online presence is just as important as having a strong real-life presence. And that is where today's sponsor, Squarespace, comes in. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build your online presence, whether you're launching a blog, creating a portfolio, offering services, or even building an online community. One of the things I love about Squarespace is how beautifully it combines powerful tools with an easy-to-use design. I've been using Squarespace to create my own website, and I'm genuinely amazed by two features in particular. First, there is their Blueprint AI builder. Instead of staring at a blank page, Blueprint AI asks you a few simple questions about your project and goals, and then instantly generates a personalized website design with smart layouts and even sample content. Another feature I'm loving is Squarespace's built-in analytics. You can actually see where your visitors are coming from, which pages they spend the most time on, and even track your sales or bookings, all in one simple dashboard. So if you want to create your own website, I highly recommend Squarespace. Head to squarespace.com/Veronika to start your free trial. And when you're ready to launch, you can use my code Veronika for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Squarespace is one of the best investments you can make to showcase your skills and launch your dream project. Okay, so the next area is going to be social media. Social media is something we give a lot of our time and energy to. So why not make it at least a little bit educational? And I'm not saying only follow creators who teach English, because yes, it's going to be beneficial, but I think eventually you're gonna get bored because you're gonna open Instagram or TikTok and your whole feed is just educational content. And sometimes we don't want to be learning anything. And that is why we need to trick ourselves into believing that we are not. And the way you're gonna do that is you're just gonna follow creators who speak your target language and who talk about their lives. I follow a lot of people who speak English, who speak Russian, my native language, and who also speak Spanish. So every day when I open Instagram and check my stories, like all of the content, reels and posts, I will get a mixture of all of these languages. Obviously, you can also join different communities on Telegram, on Discord, connected to language learning, or maybe communities that are just in your target language, that are connected to something completely different. But I do really like Reddit for the purposes of just reading something in your target language. You can join so many different subreddits and participate in a lot of different drama. If you like reading what people are complaining about, or maybe you want to share your own story, you can do that on Reddit. And the final area is going to be your everyday tasks. What I usually do is every single morning I write my to-do list. So I always do it in English because I want to practice my language and I want to do it in a way that feels fun and that feels like I'm not spending any more additional time on language learning. So you can write your to-do list in your target language. As I said before, your grocery list, any kind of list, just write it in English now. I'm also a person who loves journaling, and so I could be journaling in my native language, but I don't. I prefer to journal in English, even if it's just simple sentences, even if half of your writing is done in your native language. Maybe the other half now is going to be done in English instead. When I plan my work, my workouts, my social life, I use a calendar. So when I use a calendar, everything I'm typing there is happening in English. So you can do the same thing. Like all of your reminders, everything you have to do, all of your doctor's appointments, you can write all of those things in English. When it comes to your tech, your phone, your computer, you can also change the languages there. My phone is always in English, so you pretty much have a lot of proof that you can speak this language and that you're practicing it regularly. Another thing you can do is obviously talk to ChatGPT, any kind of AI you're using in your target language, and also Google random questions. You know, sometimes you're walking around outside, you see a random tree, so search for all of these answers and try to read all of the information that Google is going to be giving you in English and Spanish in your target language. I think for me, the idea behind today's video is if you're noticing that you don't have a lot of time to dedicate to language learning, you're not being consistent, I don't want you to give up completely. I don't want you to start saying that, well, I guess language learning is not for me. I guess I'm just not good at languages. I don't want you to try to study harder either. I want you to look for a system that is going to fit your life, your lifestyle. Oftentimes when it comes to creating new habits and achieving achieving your goals. It's not really about adding more. It's not about dedicating 2 hours every single day to language learning. It's about changing how you do what you do already. Because the things that you already do, they take up a lot of your time every single day. So that becomes a perfect opportunity for you to integrate more language learning in a very easy way. So the biggest takeaway I want to give you guys today is, if you're beating yourself up for not studying a lot, for not practicing your language every single day, please stop. Instead, ask yourself, how can I live in this language at least a little bit today? And then continue asking yourself this question tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. You get the point. So I think it's going to be it for today's video. If you liked it, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to see everything we talked about today on paper, in a document, I highly recommend getting my Low-Effort Fluency Guide. So to get it, just click the link in my description and share your email with me. If you guys are looking into creating your own website, I highly recommend Squarespace. I have been working with them for so long already because the first few versions of my own website was built on Squarespace. So I'm super familiar with this platform. My link will help you get a free trial, and my code Veronika will give you 10% off. If you want to continue this topic of fun and playful language learning tips and learn how to make language learning feel like a game, I have a video about it right here. So you can click right here and start learning a language as if you were playing a video game.